we are joined in the studio by Audrey Chirenje. Good morning to you, Audrey.
Good morning, Maurice. How are you today?
Very well, thanks. Good to have you on the show. As always, I always look forward to Tuesdays.
Thank you. Awesome Tuesdays.
Awesome Tuesdays. And we have an awesome book here. But you know what? I'm kind of thinking the title is kind of catchy. Okay, Oops, I'm Healing. Why the oops?
So, I mean, if you read the book and you just read Tavonga's profile, she's that young, vivacious lady, you know, all life and all fun. So even the way she writes, even this book, it's like 89 pages of prose, and then we've got a couple of poems thereafter. So she's one of those, you know, people who just break barriers, who, you know, trendsetters, that kind of person.
That is incredible. And, you know, sometimes, most often the time when we are going through maybe a heartbreak or a devastating situation, you'll find like, antichachema anymore. So it's like, oops, I'm supposed to be crying, but oops, I'm healing. So maybe that's where it comes from.
That's exactly where it was coming from. You got it 100%.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. So tell us more about Tavonga Trish Chinyerere, this memoir that she's written.
Okay, so Tavonga Trish is a young lady, like I said, recently finished her tourism degree at the University of Zimbabwe. This is her third book. She's featured in anthologies, and this is her first debut book by herself. She works for a travel agency right now, but she's all things writing, and she's proud to say she dabbles in dark humor, deep poetry. This book is one of those deep reads.
I'm hearing what you're saying about deep reads, because there's this phrase here that says healing isn't always graceful, but hey, neither is life. Oops.
Oops. Yeah, so you see she loves that word.
the humor kind of sparked in there.
And even if you look at the synopsis, she says, Oops, I'm Healing is a memoir with a twist, raw truths, dark humor, and the occasional crisis. Tavonga unpacks trauma, resilience, and self-discovery with honesty of a late-night overthinker. Healing isn't always graceful, but hey, neither is life. Oops.
Yeah, like so, you know, we go through lives. Those are the ups and downs, and it's absolutely going to be there that we go through some of these moments in our lives. So she writes a story about it. Can we delve a little bit into the story that she writes? What is it about? Is it love? Is it work related? Is it life? What is she talking about?
So, I mean, I'll just read the table of contents, then our viewers can actually try and appreciate. So we've got chapter 1, adulting with the side of trauma. And then the next chapter is I'm Not Crying, You Are. Emotional baggage and other carry-ons. Surviving Me, a user's guide. And then heartbreaks and happy endings, sort of, in brackets, and then confessions of a recovering overthinker. And then the last chapter is Horizon of Light. So that's a story of hope. She talks about growing up in a household, and, you know, she just puts it out there. I'm always arguing that, you know, like in her case, it's a family of 3 boys and 1 girl. All these siblings will remember life in that household differently, because they would have experienced it at different times. Yeah. She's the firstborn, so obviously the parents were still together, and there were different aspects that she faced that the others didn't face. So I remember talking to her saying, are you sure you want to put your story out there? She's like, no, this is my truth. I need to own it. Yeah. And people shouldn't tell me what to do with my truth, because it's part of her healing.
Yeah, and that's very true. A lot of people are kind of, you know, hesitant to really go out there and speak about some of the things that they've done. Either they're embarrassed about the situation, or you just don't know what people are going to say. But I think sometimes it's good to just take that bold step, because it's not about you, really. It's about you helping other people realize some of the situations that they go through in life, and, you know, some of the situations and lessons that she highlights. What are some of those?
So some of the lessons she talks about, healing and self-discovery, breaking generational cycles. This is very important, and I've just been learning so much about this. And resilience and personal growth, vulnerability and truth-telling, just like what you were saying, Marisa. Redefining love and relationships, finding joy amidst pain, self-worth and empowerment.
So you saying that, you know, you're learning a lot about breaking cycles and generational cycles. What maybe 2 lessons that you've learned from that?
So I think, you know how, you know, even like, let's talk about even poverty, you know. You always find that in that generation, perhaps the grandfather could have been rich, and then the son becomes poor, and then the son thereafter becomes poor, and then it becomes a generational cycle.
Pattern, yeah.
So one person has to actually come out and say, no, I have to break this. And then the next generation will actually benefit. You know how even we're encouraged to leave a legacy for your children's children.
Yes.
So it's not even about your immediate children, it's about your grandchildren in the future.
In the future as well.
Yes.
So this is an exciting read, or, kind of different. Rather, she has all her chapters that you've just highlighted, the chapters, and she also has a collection. She calls it a collection, and these are poems.
Yes.
So in which one was your favorite one when you went through this one?
Ripples was
Ripples.
that was my favorite.
I'm trying to find where Ripples is. I mean, there's so much. There's second, there's hope, there's darkness, there's fantasies, there's happy, promises and stuff. So let's just maybe read a few lines of Ripples. It says, an overwhelming urge to cry, eyes watering from nowhere, a deep pain right in my heart. I feel something is wrong. I know it. Intuition. I'm better than this. I'm doing so well. Then why do I feel like this? Like my world is crumbling. Like I haven't been doing anything. Could it be could it be the worst of my fears confirmed? Unlovable, unwanted, unhinged, crazy. So
Yeah.
she's talking about her emotions at this particular time. What was your view on this poem?
So one of the things that I learned, which was very new for me, is that we don't talk about. She talks about how she was in boarding school, at Dudley Hall boarding school in primary school, and she talks about the struggles that she had to go through. You know, we send kids to school and we don't even realize some of the struggles they face.
Yeah.
Like in this case, there were children coming from elite families, the rich kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was saying she was not so well up, but they were okay. According to her, they were okay. But then the other kids, they start saying all these jokes. So that was one other lesson. And then also another lesson, you know how you change your child so many schools.
Yeah.
There's always something happening, to affect that decision. But then it also affects the child. Mm-hmm. So she changed schools a lot. And she spoke about how it would always affect her because she goes to the next school, she has to make new friends, she has to reset. And so those are some of the struggles that she spoke about.
Yeah.
And then also at university, she was a top student, but then she entered the uni world. And now she had to fight to keep that top student position, where it had been easy, but this is uni. You meet different people all over the country,
yes.
and even some come from the region at the UZ. So she also chronicles about that, the struggles that people go through. The other day we were laughing about how when someone makes it, when someone wins an award, for example, they always go, I would like to thank God. And then they make it like everything was good,
Yes.
Oh, everything was, but no, every story has difficulties. That's the middle part, which is always difficult. And people don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what we actually need to talk about so that the student in an institution can actually realize that, like from that poem that you read, that, look, it's not going to be easy every day. Some days I'm going to struggle. Some days it'll be hard. But then at the end of the day, like in this case, she graduated top of her class. Wow. But there were a lot of struggles in between.
Yeah. And it's a good reminder also to know that there's nothing new under the sun. Like she's going to go through some of these moments. And sometimes we know that we're going to go through devastating times and situations, but it's also good to talk about them because that's almost kind of like a guide of how we navigate through some of the situations that we go through. And we just know that we're never alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. You and I have both gone through stuff, so we're never alone. And we're still alive right here, talking to everybody.
And standing.
And conquering.
Yes.
That's what it is. So where do we find this book?
Okay, she's on social media, Tavonga Writes, LinkedIn, Tavonga Trish, WordPress, Tavonga Writes, and then the book is sold at $15. And then for now, you can get a copy from her. Mm-hmm. So you can get in touch with her on Instagram or her WhatsApp number. I'll read that. Mm-hmm. That's 0776 389 610. I'll repeat, 0776 389 610. Or Tavonga Writes on IG.
On IG, hey? Tavonga, this is a very, very good book. I'm excited to read it. And, somewhere she talks about roses always finding a place to bloom.
Yes, and so you can see her cover.
Her cover has the roses.
Specks of flowers and even the inside flowers.
Yeah. It reminds me, I have a plant at home. It's like a bush. I don't know what it is. Every single time we chop it off, it grows back again and at an exceedingly fast rate. But in the middle of it is a rose bush. and the white roses. So it's right outside my window, and I enjoy watching that. And I'm thinking, yeah, through the toughest situations, always come out and always bloom, because that's what we're made to do.
Resilience.
And the resilience. And Tavonga, thank you so much for reminding us that, yes, we do go through life, and, you know, sometimes it's good to know that, you know, we are healing on the journey. Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, it's not going to work for me, but we are healing. Thanks.
Oops, I'm healing. Oops. Like a surprise, because you think you're not going to get out of
Yeah.
it. But oops, I'm healing.
But the danger as well, Audrey, I find some people like to stay in that state of moping and just move on. Just move on. It's not worth it. That pain is not worth it. It takes so much away from who you are as an individual. But Audrey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Marisa.
And,
always a pleasure.
Discovering this beautiful writing by Tavonga. You said it is her first book.
Yes, but she's featured in anthologies, in poetry anthologies, yes.
Okay, good. Well, we're looking forward to a second book by her. And I'm sure it's going to be just as exciting as this
100%.
one. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next week.
Awesome.